to Lynx Radio. Today we've got a very special guest with us. I mean, obviously you don't need an introduction, but do you mind introducing yourself to the audience?
Okay, hi, I'm Dalia Alkatheer. I'm the graphic designer of Shaheen.
Okay, so we're talking all things enterprise, events, sustainability, and just some funny stories. So sit back, tune in, and let's get into it. So Dalia, I've known you when I was in the 7th grade and you were in the 9th grade. And I was curious to know, what got you into STEM racing? Was it Noor? Was it a family member? Was it a teacher?
Okay, well, it's actually a funny story because it started off when Noor joined back in 2022. And I was completely against it because we were both not familiar with the program at all.
Yeah.
And she was gonna leave. But I'm glad she stayed because I ended up being a sport member during nationals and world finals. And then I ended up signing up last year and alhamdulillah, we got to where we did.
So you weren't an official Shaheen member the first year?
No, I wasn't, but I did help out as much as I can.
Okay. So you just joined the nationals, you just helped them with figuring things out. Was it like that?
It was more of moral help than anything else because I helped out in portfolios, like writing it and just making sure that everything is like outlined or something because that's a big part of graphic design. And we ended up doing that for around 6 months till they were done. Then I joined the program.
Talking about portfolios, which personally I think is the worst thing in STEM racing. However, could you give anybody in the hub or outside of the hub advice on enterprise portfolios to be exact?
Yeah, write as much as you can and then start figure out where it goes and adding icons and stuff like that. Because you don't want to be rushed last minute to write everything down because you're gonna end up either missing something or just not being fully happy with what you did.
طيب على طاري being rushed. Yeah. Yesterday we had your manufacturing engineer, if I'm not wrong.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure we asked him a question. It was, do you remember any funny or memorable stories that happened? So I wanted to also ask you the same question, just to see.
I don't know what he said, but I think a funny thing was before nationals when we used to meet up at IFA so we could practice our verbal presentation. We used to look for the exact room we would actually be in during nationals, and we'd try to practice how we're gonna be and how we're gonna be moving. Because during regionals, it was supposed to be in the big showroom, but we ended up being in the smallest room ever. And it was really cramped up, so we wanted to practice that before we actually did it. So I think that was really funny or a fun time with the team.
Wait, Tani, you did the verbal presentation in the big room? The huge stadium? Or was it in the small room?
No, because some teams did it in the big room, and then me and one or two other teams, I think, we did it in a tiny room, in the students' place. I don't remember. But it was really cramped up and we couldn't move at all. And it was really hot in that room, and it was a bunch of people. So we wanted to practice where we were actually gonna be, so we don't end up making the same mistakes.
Okay, I wanted to know, you clearly have a bunch of experience in STEM racing and in Formula and in a bunch of programs. So I wanted to know, do you have any advice for somebody who wants to join STEM racing but they don't really know anything about it? Just like you 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, I think I'm gonna start off with saying that it's a really fun program. I learned a lot. I met a lot of people. I gained experience in fields I never thought I'd even join. Cause this is kind of funny, but I was in enterprise in sim racing, but I actually want to be an engineer. So it was a fun thing that I got to see what type of stuff other people do. I only my one big advice would be only join if you actually have time. Because I was really pressured with time, especially since I was in the 11th grade. I had Fadalat, I had a bunch of other stuff. If you're doing CTs, if you're gonna be in risk, you're gonna be really pressured doing a lot of stuff. So only join if you're probably 10th grade. I say it's the best time, you right now. And join it if you want to learn some stuff. Even if you don't, it's really still fun.
How did you balance all of that in the 11th grade?
Good question.
Good question.
Well, I tried to manage it as much as I can, and it was kind of easy because I had 2 other people the same grade as me, and we balanced it out. Me and Noor, our project manager, she made sure that we both had time for other stuff. And unfortunately, I did not finish for the light in Chinese anyway, or like in 11th grade. But I actually have a test next week. So yeah.
Okay. But any more advice you'd like to say? Anything else?
I don't think so.
So let's go to the chase. Everybody wants to know more about Shaheen's members and our coaches in the Han Hub. So how about we play a little game? So who's most likely to?
Okay.
And I want you to say anybody who comes to your mind. Shaheen, another team, a team in Germany, a team wherever you want, or even perhaps a coach.
Okay.
So, who's most likely to be the biggest perfectionist?
So, my team member.
Saad?
She used to, okay, this is kind of funny. During portfolio submissions, she would leave everything out and work on like the perfections of like how it's aligned and stuff, and we'd be like, just put in like everything else and we'd work on that. So I think that's like the biggest perfectionist. Or maybe Saad Ahmed. He used to like get the ruler out and the portfolio and be like, this is like not aligned and stuff.
I personally think Saad Ahmed worries about my portfolio more than I worry about my portfolio.
Yeah.
Next, so which coach is most likely to turn into a motivational speaker? Saad Ahmed. Although I would say Sana Manal could equally be such a good motivational speaker.
I don't know because I didn't actually work with her that much, but probably, yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of a personal question. Who's most likely to break the car right before the race?
Harris
Sahih.
Abdullah.
Really?
He almost dropped the car like 3 times, I think.
ما حسيت. I thought you were gonna say that he was a perfectionist.
No, not at all.
He seems like such a perfectionist. Alright. Which Han Hub coach would most likely stress over your team more than you would? And you can't say Saad Ahmed because that has been the answer for the past 3 questions.
Okay. Maybe Saad Abdurrahman, where he's bought the car. I think that's it.
Saad Abdurrahman, I feel like he really stresses me out even though I'm not an engineer.
Look, actually I have like a really good, let's say like relationship with him, because I remember when I first joined the program, he had to like test out the printer, the 3D printer, and he printed out like the F1 logo in green and black, and he gave it to me and was like, oh, this is for Shaheen, and I'm like, oh. And and then he didn't do it for anyone else, and we kept that relationship, right? And then he was also like the assigned coach for us during nationals and world finals. And I remember he كان فاز علينا. And during nationals, we like Ibrahim, our head of engineering, had to like go home and get something. So he was like, "Can you drop me off?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And he just left and came back. It was like really fun.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
But what do you mean assigned coach? So does every team have like an assigned coach?
Yeah, like you have one coach that's like responsible for your team, and like is basically responsible for like where you guys are, and like if you get to like your verbal presentation, your other judging sessions. Yeah.
So it's kind of a serious question because you reminded me. How did you train for the verbal presentation? How long did you take?
I can't lie to you. We actually did not take that long, and I think that's like not a good thing. I'd recommend probably start practicing like a week at least, or like 10 days before you actually have to present it. And like obviously you need to like write everything down beforehand. So what we did for regionals was we practiced for like a day and a half, probably, maybe even less.
A day and a half?
Yeah, we like did it last minute, and we were like really pressured, but we did end up like doing really good. Nationals, we did the same thing. We tried to like practice when we got to ITFA, but we ended up like doing anything else. World finals though, we practiced like anytime we could. We used to like leave, practice, and then come back when we didn't have anything. We'd like find like the weirdest places ever. We used to go like in the parking lot and like practice. But we did end up like doing a lot better in world finals.
So do you think that you wish you could have practiced more? Well, do you think that the amount you practiced was good enough?
I think the amount of practice was good enough, but I think the content itself needed a lot of work.
Who wrote the content? Was it like the enterprise? Or was it a group effort?
It was more of a group effort because like بالنهاية we're all going to talk about the verbal presentation. So what we did was we had like 3 parts or 4. Product management, engineering, enterprise, and then learning experiences. We had like certain amount of slides, and then we just like add content to it. So I'm going to be talking about enterprise, right? I like add the content to it. Engineering adds their content, and then we just fix it up like visual wise.
Okay. So moving on to a slightly serious segment now. Yeah. So I'm sure all of the teams have been focusing on sustainability in events, economical, sustainability, social. These three things are very important, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you think teams can continue to incorporate these green initiatives in their projects? So for example, could you give us an event, you know?
Okay, what we did was we had like one big event that's like based off of sustainability where we did like planting. We did it like twice. So first year and then second year, we planted like over 200 trees in total. And that was probably like the biggest sustainability event that we had. We did it in a jihad. So we had like a bunch of volunteers come over. We also collaborated with the municipality of Lahan to do it. We also filmed an episode for Shaheen show. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I have heard.
Okay, yeah, so it was like the first, I think, segment of the show. We were planting, we had our sponsor come over, we had like a bunch of volunteers, and it was really fun. And then we also had like spread about sustainability and stuff. But something really important I would tell the teams is try to incorporate sustainability in everything you do. Either working on a car, either it's events, either it's whatever, honestly. Like, even if it's not actually about sustainability, just like talk about it a bit so you can add it to the portfolio, because it's really important that you have like a lot of good content in the sustainability part.
So I'm gonna ask you, was that your favorite event that you guys did? Were there more events that you liked more or enjoyed more? Like social events that you did?
It was a really fun event, but the one thing I didn't like was the timing of it. It was mid-July or like mid-June, and we had finals. It was really hot. We were really stressed about finals. I remember a chem final the next day. But we did have a lot of other events that I really loved. Like the one we had with Excel International School for the disabled students. We went and we had to like talk about sustainability. We like talked with the kids. We played with them. That was really fun because I ended up like making maybe a memory for these kids and just like I don't know, having fun with them. What else did we do? We had like a lot of events, honestly. We had like a lot more like disabled people or like disabled like events. Cause funny thing is, one of our biggest sponsors, Nisma, basically the CEO of it is blind. So that gave us the idea of like working with the Wahdat al-Khasa and like having the 5 senses in our team so like everyone can feel incorporated in F1 or in sim racing or just in general like feeling like what normal people would probably say that they can do.
So I want to ask you too, do you think your relationship with your team, is it still the same? Do you guys still talk about the presentation? Do you still reminisce the memories that you guys used to live through min zaman?
Honestly, not that much. Maybe with a few members like that I'm close with, but in general, not really. I think we all like got busy with life, and like honestly, we've never had like that close of a relationship. We are close, but we're not as close as like people like might be like other teams. We kept it, or we tried to keep it as professional as possible. And I think we did that right because I see a lot of teams that are like really close or too close that when they end up having an argument over something, it messes up their entire dynamic. So I think like a good tip that I'd give teams is, okay, have a close relationship with your teammate, but don't be like too close, especially with like the one person you're like always working with. So like your enterprise, don't be like that close with your enterprise. If you're engineering, don't be like that close with your engineering. You can obviously be friends and all, but like try to keep friendship and then work life kind of apart.
Yeah. Like, so what do you think was a past mistake that you did back when you were still a competitor in Shaheen or in STEM racing? Oh my god, okay. In STEM racing, what's a mistake that you wish that you could have خطيت هذا الموضوع أو ما سويتيه أو سويت شيء أحسن منه؟
Okay, one big thing that we did wrong was we kept delaying working on the portfolio until last minute, and we were like really pressured with time. like I mentioned before. So I think that's like one thing that I would probably want to work on is like trying to finish the portfolio earlier. Maybe we could have gotten a better score.
What's a scorecard like?
I could show it to you. I don't mind. It's not that bad actually, but we definitely could have done better.
Yeah. من ناحية ايش البورتفوليو والسيارة ولا؟
I can't talk about the car much because I don't really know because I'm not an engineer. But definitely like enterprise in general, we could have done probably better. We did put our all, but we definitely could have done better. Yeah.
Like, you were a graphic designer, am I right? So that's also my job. But I also really work hard with my teammate Ali to get sponsors. So how did you and your enterprise buddy, how did you guys work together to get sponsors and how was it?
Okay, well what we did was we had like one more main person for this like sponsors and like the other person would be more like support for that, for like helping and stuff. So what we did was like my buddy was like emailing other companies plus like hearing back from them, like all of that, and then when she needed something from me I'd do it and like send it to her or like I'd be talking to the sponsor itself. But actually what we did was like as a team we all like try to like recollect memories of who we could talk to. Either it's like a family member working in a big company or like a friend or like whatever it is, and we try to talk to them for the company, and then we all like just gave the number to like one person so they kept going with that.
So if you could give me like not an exact number بس رقم تقريبي كم, like how many did you call, email, تواصلتوا معاهم
like بالبداية
بداية في النهاية everything.
Okay. ما بكذب عليك ترى كلمنا مرة كثير لأن we wanted to write about something in the portfolio which is like the percentage of like hearing back from sponsors. So what we did was we sent like 100 messages to like 100 people and then 100 emails and then and then we got the percentage, like the average, and it was like 15, I think 15% or maybe even less. So in total we talked to like a lot of people. I can't give you an exact number, but definitely over like 300, 400 people. And but I do recommend that you have like 4 or 5, maximum like 6 or 7 like main sponsors that you like always talk to, because we've talked to like a bunch of judges for enterprise and they always say like we'd rather read about a team having like a good relationship with like specific companies than like have a bunch of companies and they don't have like any type of communication with them.
So would you recommend having a bunch of sponsors or having عدد محدود منهم بس we communicate with them a lot?
Definitely the second one.
The second one?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you had unlimited resources, and I'm pretty sure this is the last question that I've got personally, if you had unlimited resources, what's one sustainability project that you would recommend to do? You have anything you want, all the money you want, all the money you can have, all the support that you could have, what would you do?
Is it like specifically for sustainability?
Sustainability, economical, social, whatever you want.
I think like get one big event that like has all of it in, like economical, social, environmental, like just try to like work on all of them at the same time because they all support each other. So what we did was like in our portfolio, I could show it to you, is that in each event that we did, what like we wrote about, or like we had a graph that shows like the percentage of environmental, social, and economical, and like the main one. We talked about that. So what I would do if I had unlimited resources is I'd have to like a big event that has like all of them. So we'd have like a corner that's like working on social, we'd have like a corner that's working on environmental, we have like a corner that's working on, what is the last one? Yeah, social. Whatever it is, I try to like work on all of them so we could like talk about it, because sustainability is like a really big part of the program. Also try to incorporate sustainability in your pit display. That's really important. So what we did was like we got a bunch of like stuff from our house. Like I don't know if you like remember it, but we had like a garage door for our pit display. That was something that we found at home that we just like sprayed on and we brought it. We reused a bunch of stuff from like other events, from like our old pit display, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, so this question I wasn't planning to ask, but فجأة جاء على بالي. If you could join Formula again, sim racing again, Would you or would you not?
I'd probably join as like a coach rather than as a student again. It was a fun year in my life, but I do want to like do something different, probably. So.
I personally love to see you as a coach.
I'd love to see
would be
it
so
too.
fun.
I wish actually, like either a judge or like as a coach, I'd love to help out. Because right now what I'm doing is like, I'm helping out as many people as I can, or like whoever like calls for my help, basically. Because like I want to see a Saudi team win this year, hopefully, inshallah. Because last year we got really close, so we got really close, mashallah, tabarakallah. And this year, hopefully, I think like Saudi team could definitely do it. Inshallah.
Okay. So, is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap this up?
I don't know. Like, ask for everyone. I don't think I have.
Is there any last statement? Is there any potential project manager you'd like to thank before we wrap this up?
I'd like to thank Team Lynx.
No, I was talking about Noor, but okay.
Yeah, I do like actually like thank Shaheen a lot because as I mentioned, like we did like learn a lot. We had a lot of fun, and alhamdulillah, we ended up winning best product management, and we're nominated for best marketing and sponsorships. We were like I think half a mark off. I think. Also engineering, they were really good. We were amazing. Our car was like the fastest in Saudi in nationals and world finals. So I think that our team did like really good. Inshallah, alhamdulillah. Yeah.
You think?
I would like to thank Shaheen. I'd like to thank STEM Racing. I'd like to thank all our coaches. I'd like to thank you guys for inviting me here.
Thank you for coming. And that's a wrap for this episode on Lynx Radio. So huge thanks to Dalia, aka Shaheen's great enterprise. And thank you to everybody behind the camera. And thank you to our lovely engineers. And stay tuned for the next episode.